Time for a swim? Well, all right. Very well. Let's go. Yeah. Time for a swim? Yeah. Beautiful. Best wishes. Yeah. Let's go. Yes. Of course. Yes. Let's go. Spring is sprung. Gotta cool off. Say night-night. Very well. Best wishes. Let's go. Beautiful. Let's celebrate.
Hey everyone, GuardianE here with another Camilla Emblem clear video in Fire Emblem Heroes. Today taking on the Pega-pony Princess herself, Cynthia, on her very own Grand Hero battle on Infernal difficulty. So Hero Chaser Cynthia is finally in the game, child of Sumia, and she comes with her a whole host of very powerful skills for foddering purposes, and just has a pretty good stat line overall as well. Her map is actually a pretty fun one. It has a nice balance, I would say, for older players that have been around for a while. This is going to be kind of a cakewalk, but at the same time, it lets you experiment a little bit more. I like the map composition with the forested areas, a combination of forested areas and walls, the enemy combinations, as well as the reinforcements. Waves of reinforcements that don't seem overwhelming, but are kind of fun to pick out and pick off as they approach. So I think it strikes a nice balance, especially for newer players. And of course, it being a Grand Hero battle as opposed to a Legendary or Mythic Hero battle, you would expect it to be a little bit on the easier side of things. That's kind of how they've shifted things ever since they've started releasing Mythic and Legendary Hero battles. Grand Hero battles have just kind of been a little bit on the easier side for more mid-tier content, again, for players that are kind of still getting acclimated, or we're still kind of finalizing their troops. That said, on this map, armors and flyers probably have the greatest advantage. Armors and flyers obviously able to just ignore the terrain, the forested terrain, and just move forward and engage or act defensively. The forested areas actually add an interesting element to the enemy AI, just because that forces the infantry down certain paths, limits their ranges, creates more overlapping range scenarios. So it's interesting how they utilize the forested areas to limit mobility to their advantage. But, like I said, really not that bad, and kind of just a fun little skirmish. So let's go through the units themselves. We've got Cynthia here, of course. Fire Sweep Lance Plus, Shove, Gale Force, has Darting Blow 3, as well as Speed Defense Link 3, and Drive Attack 2. She's paired with this Red Mage, and I think they did that deliberately, just so the two could work in tandem and cover each other's weaknesses. So the Red Mage has Rauda Raven, naturally an enemy to bows, comes also with Bow Breaker, just to make sure. Obviously, Cynthia has a weakness to bows, so the intent being that if a bow takes out Cynthia, then the Red Mage will be here to avenge Cynthia. Comes with Blazing Flame, Triangle Adept, and Odd Speed Wave 3, which will help Cynthia's considerable speed stat even further, synergizing with her Darting Blow and her 40 speed here. Next we have this Axe Fighter over here on the side, has a Brave Axe Plus, Reprisal, Fury, Wrath, and Hone Speed 3. He comes paired with this Cleric who has Flash Plus, so that's interesting. We're seeing them use Flash in order to limit your ability to counter attack. So that paired with the Axe Fighter, who will just be able to Brave attack you. Comes with Guard as well to limit Special Retaliation and Special Buildup, and Drive Speed 2 as well. We have this Sword Fighter up here and this Bow Fighter, both on the defensive side of things. They're kind of kitted with defensive skills. Slaying Edge Plus, Miracle, Distant Defense 3, Quick Riposte 3, and Distant Guard 3. And that Distant Guard 3 is going to help out the Bow Fighter here, who has Silver Bow, Brazen Attack, Speed, Quick Riposte, and Savage Blow 3. So we can take a quick look at the Camilla Emblem that we decided to bring with us today. Didn't make any changes to the kit that I usually bring along when I'm scoping out a map for the first time. Didn't really need to make any adjustments. We have Vanilla Camilla here with Camilla's Axe, Reposition, Draconic Aura, a Distant Counter for the A slot, Renewal for the B slot, and Hone Flyers for the C slot, and Chill Attack 3 for that seal. Speed Boon, Speed Asset is what we're looking at, and a plus 10 Merge. We have Spring Camilla here, also a plus 10 Merge, also a plus Speed Asset. Gron Raven Triangle Adept build, Reposition, Draconic Aura, Vantage for the B slot, Goad Flyers for the C slot, and Distant Defense 3 for the seal.
Yes.
We also have New Year's Camilla, merged at plus 10, Slaying Edge Plus, Reposition Gale Force build, Death Blow for the A slot, Desperation for the B slot, Goad Flyers for the C slot, and Heavy Blade 3 for the seal, to ensure those Gale Force procs whenever she initiates on an enemy. Like I said, plus 10 Merge, and a Speed Asset as well. And rounding out the ranks, we have Summer Camilla, Tropical Beauty Camilla with an Attack Asset, merged at plus 1, Blarblade, Reposition Draconic Aura, Fury, Desperation, Goad Flyers, and Flyer Formation for the seal. So because this challenge isn't terribly difficult, you kind of have your pick of the litter at ways to engage the enemy. You can go off to the side here to engage both the Axe Fighter and the Cleric. You can move over here to engage Cynthia and the Red Mage, maybe with a tanky blue. Tanky Distant Counter blue would work just fine. Really, you can kind of go either way. You just kind of have to engage them in pairs, kind of. So what we've opted to do is take on the Axe Fighter and Cleric combination right over here, just to eliminate the Cleric right away, so that we can make sure that the Flash Plus is not a threat going forward. If Flash Plus goes off, it's just a nuisance, because that way it reduces your ability to counterattack on the following turn. So we can do that handily by placing Spring Camilla in the danger range. And we're just going to fall back behind her in T formation, giving everybody a Hone Flyers buff for the following turn. The Brave Axe user is going to attack Camilla, which is fine. She's got great defense, so she'll be able to tank that. And it'll activate Vantage range so that she can proc or attack the Cleric before the Cleric can even get their shot off. So that prevents us from even having to worry about the Flash Plus at all. And now we're prepped and ready for the following turn. So as I mentioned before, we are getting different waves of reinforcements, and we did just get this Green Cavalier that appeared back here, as well as this Lance Cavalier. Lance Cavalier does have paths, so you just always want to be mindful of things like that, because if you're trying to barricade off an enemy, it may not work in your favor if they have paths, especially as a Cavalier. They can shoot right past you. The Green Cavalier has Rex Caliber, as well as Mirror Strike 2, Res Link, Attack Res Link, and Speed Ploy 3. So really trying to showcase a lot of the Link skills on this map. So at this juncture, the Pega-pony Princess is overextended, and we can just take her out with Summer Camilla, double her on player phase, and eliminate her. We'll reposition Summer Camilla to safety using Spring Camilla, just to get her out of range. And now we're just going to use New Year's Camilla to take out the Axe Fighter on player phase. She'll activate Gale Force in the process, but we don't really need that, so we're just going to rest and wait for the next turn. Alright, so they're going to file on in, just perfectly fine. 2 more cavalry appearing in the back, and it makes sense. The type of reinforcements that they're choosing makes sense as well. Cavalry has restricted movement naturally on a map like this, but they also have 3 movements. So in order for them the reinforcements to catch up with the frontline troops, it would make sense for them to be cavalry, right? So the Axe Cavalier here has Slaying Hammer Plus, Swap, Glimmer, as well as Steady Stance, Attack Res Link 3, again seeing those Link skills, Panic Ploy 3. The Blue Cavalier here has Thoron Plus, Blazing Thunder, Swift Strike 2, as well as Dull Ranged 3, and even Attack Wave 3. So all the enemies are nicely lined up here, and we're just going to pick them off one by one. We're going to use Vanilla Camilla to engage the Lance Cavalier and take him out, which will put her in the range of both this Sword Fighter here and this Blue Cavalier. Obviously, she has a weapon color disadvantage against the Sword Fighter, but the Sword Fighter, as we noted before, is really more of an enemy phase unit. He's not going to be doing terribly, that much damage against her, so she'll definitely be able to tank that without any issue. New Year's Camilla, now we could use New Year's Camilla to take out the Green Cavalier, but she does too much damage. She won't proc Gale Force in the process, and we do want that Gale Force to go off. So we're going to use her to take out the Red Mage instead. She'll double, activate Gale Force, which is absolutely perfect, and now that allows her to move up here to take out the Green Cavalier in one shot. And we'll finish off this Bow Fighter with Spring Camilla on player phase. And we will now safely tuck New Year's Camilla back with Summer Camilla. Now Vanilla Camilla is again in the range of these 2 units, but she's going to take him out without really any issue. Or rather, she'll tank them without any issue, I should say. And now we have the final wave of reinforcements, and it's just, again, picking them off. So we're going to be using New Year's Camilla to eliminate the Axe Cavalier first. And then we'll use Summer Camilla to finish off the Sword Fighter. I mean, really, we can engage them in any kind of order. It doesn't really matter. Spring Camilla to take out the Bow Cavalier. And New Year's Camilla to take out the Red Mage. So again, a Gale Force user is going to do a world of work here. Your typical Blade Tome plus 3 Dancer or Brave Bow plus 3 Dancer strategy is definitely going to work on a map like this. So really just play around with it, have fun with it, use whatever teams you want, and take the Pega-pony Princess home with you after the battle is done. So that's what I used, that's the team that I used, and the strategy that I used to clear Cynthia, Hero Chaser, on Infernal difficulty, the Grand Hero Battle. Let me know in the comments below what strategies and teams you ended up using to clear this Grand Hero Battle challenge. Hopefully you enjoyed watching. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you so much for watching, taking some time out of your day to spend with us. We really, really do appreciate it. And until next time, let's protect those skies.